Hey, everybody, welcome to the WODcast Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Ift. Each and every week, I bring you a show on everything from health, wellness, nutrition, physical fitness, strength conditioning, CrossFit. I talk my hobbies, skiing, mountain biking, surfing, everything that I think that makes your life better and makes my life better, and things that I enjoy, and sometimes comedy, and talk it all. So I hope you enjoy this show. If you like it, you can rate, review, and comment on iTunes. You can send me a message on at Eddie Ift on Instagram. You can tweet me at Eddie Ift. You can find me on Facebook, Eddie Ift. I'm all over social media. I've got my own special, comedy special, Sweet Home Alabama. That's on YouTube. I have a new special called Man Child coming out. Should be out in the next few weeks. Working very hard, touring all over the country. I do not have my tour dates in front of me, and I have to do this introduction in a hurry because I need to get to Vancouver. I'm in Vancouver this weekend. Actually, it's called Westminster. It's on the east side of Vancouver. I'm at the House of Comedy Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of February. Next week, I will be, or no, not next week. I'm off. I'm going to the daddy-daughter dance with my daughter. The following week, the 17th, 18th, 19th, I'm in Chicago. Rosemont, Zanies, 17th and 18th. 19th, I'll be at Zanies downtown in Chicago. The 20th, I'll be in Milwaukee at the Milwaukee Improv. That's a Sunday night. Get your tickets. These shows sell out a lot, so please get your tickets. Don't come to me and say, I messed up. Get your tickets. 25th and 26th of February, I'll be at Laugh Boston. I found my calendar, by the way. 25th, 26th, I'll be at Laugh Boston in Boston. That's downtown in the Seaport. That show always sells out. Both those shows, or all 4 of those shows. It's crazy. So get your tickets. The following week, I'm in a corporate. You can't come to that. And then I go away to Costa Rica. You can't come to that either. I'm going surfing. Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. I'm there the 18th and 19th of March. And then Las Vegas. I will be there the 21st to the 27th. I'll be at the Comedy Cellar at the Rio Hotel. That's a fun one always. It's a showcase show. So it's a lot of comedians, a lot of, headlining comedians all working together, all doing short sets, which is fun. You can see me in Steamboat Springs, Colorado on the 8th and 9th of April. The 14th and 15th, 13th and 14th, I'll be in Vail, Colorado. 15th and 16th, I'll be in Denver, Colorado. And 21st, 22nd, 23rd of April, I will be in, where am I? I'll be in St. Louis at the Funny Bone. And then the first week of May, Las Vegas again at the Comedy Cellar. So come see me. Tickets are always available at eddieift.com. That's eddieift.com. Patreon. People that donate to this show $5 a month, not only do they get this amazing show that I work really hard to put together, and they show their gratitude, which I appreciate immensely, but also they get in a drawing to win a Myopux and a leopard paw. Myopux and a leopard paw. We're a little slow on getting a few of them out that are on their way. Everybody else has gotten theirs. There's like a few people that have just awarded them. You will be getting them. I apologize if we're a little slow. It's just things have been a little crazy. We're probably backed up a couple weeks. So if you heard your name a couple weeks ago, you'll still be getting it. It's just going to take us a couple weeks. But a leopard paw is, it's like a Graston. You use it. And mine just got taken away from me at the airport, and they gave it back, luckily. They thought it was a weapon, and it is a weapon to get rid of any adhesions you have that restrict blood flow. That it's to help you rehabilitate. They're really good. Check them out. Rogue has them. They sell them on Rogue, the leopard paw and the leopard claw, and then also the electronic muscle stimulator, something I can't live without, and it is awesome. It is a like a TENS machine, but also contracts your muscles that allows blood to flow in and out, thus repairing the injury without damaging more muscle tissue. This is all worth about $450. And if you donate $5 a month, you get in the drawing. You probably get one. Winner this week, Matthew Hussey. And Matthew, you're from somewhere overseas. Just contact us and we will get you going. That's Matthew, Matthew Hussey. Matthew, send us an email at WODcastPodcast@yahoo.com and we will take care of you. Now, guys, this episode, I'm moving fast because I can only do 1 hour. I'm going to do a 2-parter because Bobby is amazing. It's crazy. Bobby Williams, everybody. This, I hope, will be one of your favorite episodes because Bobby is just so full of knowledge, experience, wisdom, and he's one of my best friends. I love to hear what he's up to. Sometimes I make him out to be crazy, but the truth is Bobby's smarter than all of us. So take in what he has to say, listen to what he says. He's a wise man, and he's really pursuing health and fitness and wellness that we all should be, and taking it as extreme as he does. And we talk a lot about the Stratosphere. So enjoy this episode, and also check out our sponsors. I'm wearing my sponsor right now. Barbell Apparel is now I fly in it. I sleep in it. I travel in it. I work out in it. It is the best stuff in the world. I've bumped out all my Lululemon shit and all that. And I am now Barbell Apparel all the way. I got a big box of the stuff. I wasn't sure about it. I started opening these bags and I'm like, oh, why wear this? I put these stuff on. I'm like, oh my God, this feels so good. Oh my God. Everything from shirts to pants to it's just unbelievable. You got to try this stuff. But Barbell Apparel, thank you guys. Thank you for coming on because I love your stuff. I absolutely love it. Talk about them further in the episode. Also, CBDMD and Sleep 8. Oh my God. Between the two of you, I'm just the most restful man in the world. And you guys can tell it right now. Look at this energy I have. So let's get this episode with Bobby Williams. You look good, Bob. You look good.
I just woke up.
For a guy that has figured out every single thing in life, how to work everything and do it well, how have you not figured out technology?
Oh, I stay away from tech as much as I can. I'd rather hire somebody, man. I mean, come on. I'm the 70s guy. Look at the 70s hair. The 70s guy, 70s hair. He doesn't want. Mariel had to set this up. This is the first time I've ever even touched a Zoom meeting. How about that? First time.
Good for you. I wish I could say that.
Yeah. Well, you're working every day.
I would love to avoid technology. I would love to stay away from it. I'd love to live in a cabin in the woods, chop wood, make my food, kill it. You know, I'd like that.
I think it's one of the reasons why I'm as young as I am, man. I mean, 60, dude. 60. Wow. 59 this year. 60's less than 2 years away. It's a year and a half away from me. I'm going to be 60 years old. It's 60 years old.
60. You're doing that like your dog. You have a dog that's how old?
Bindu, he's 22. He's 156. Yeah, let me grab him. He's right behind us.
He's 22 years old, this dog.
Right, little man.
Okay, he's wearing his underwear. I hope you guys watch this on YouTube. Bobby's in his underwear.
Always in my underwear, man. There he is.
That dog's not alive, Bob.
He's 156. He's alive. Watch this.
Animal. No, don't do that. Bob, he's 22 years old.
He's still hiking.
Does he really?
Yeah, he goes hiking with us. You just put the leash on and he follows, no problem.
He's got cataracts, huh?
Yeah. But he eats like a horse.
Does he really?
Yeah, he eats a lot.
That's hilarious. He's got all his teeth?
He's got what?
Does he have all his teeth?
No, he's got none.
What does he eat with?
Listen, when his teeth were going really bad, as soon as we removed his teeth, his coat got shiny, no more grease, and he was healthy. Teeth are everything. I mean, you know all about that, taking care of your teeth. You don't take care of your teeth, it's going to really affect your whole body.
So what does he eat?
He eats, believe it or not, little dogs can still do a little bit of kibble, but he gets raw meat, he gets raw butter, he eats buffalo, he gets the kibble, but is grain-free. He eats the cat food as often as he can. He chases after the cats to get the cat food. He's got it going on. Hilarious. He eats like, usually he used to eat just once a day and have snacks. Now he gets 2 or 3 times a day. Mariel's calling. Let's have Mariel say something. What is it, Mariel?
Are you sorted out?
Yeah, I figured it out. Cece's checking on me to see if I figured out my tech because I've never done it. All good. Thank you.
Okay, enjoy.
Bye.
Where is she? Up in a mountain somewhere right now?
Marielle?
Yeah.
She went to the gym.
Oh, I thought she was hiking or something.
Yeah, she went to the gym.
You still have a lot of snow out there?
About 4 feet in the yard. Yeah. and 8 feet up top. I'll show you at the end. It's super bright. Ed, negative 21 with the wind chill this morning, negative 11 actual temperature. But it's the last day of negative temperatures. Tomorrow it's going to be 3.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
Yeah. But it's going to go 3, 7, 9, 10. It'll start getting into the double digits. When it's in the 30s or the high 20s, and it's in the teens, it's a piece of cake. But anything below 0 is tough. It takes a while to get used to.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. I just broke my moral compass, which is I don't kill any animals or even insects except for flies and rats. Are the only things I kill. And
when did this happen?
Like my whole life, I've never killed I killed a bird when I was a kid and I felt terrible.
My cousins were out with a BB gun. I was like 7, and they were trying to shoot the birds, and they shot one. It got hit right in the stomach, and it fell out of the tree. And I grabbed it and ran home and tried to save it.
Yeah, I killed a bird, and I've never felt that bad in my life. And so I was just going to say that about you. You're a huge animal lover. You have how many cats there? You got
okay. So you'll love this. This is what I've been doing since I was 16. I ran over a rabbit one night coming home from a bar with a girlfriend, and I pulled over and took the rabbit off the road and put it on the side of the road, and said a little prayer like, "I'm sorry, man," and I put him in the grass.
Yeah.
And then I just left. After that, every dead animal that I see, I pull the car over. Even if it's a skunk, Meryl gives me wipes so that I don't bring the skunk smell. I pick them up and I put them in the woods. I put them on the side of the road. I mean, if you got hit by a car, would you want to be run over and over and over again? The last animal I rescued was again on the 101, rabbit sitting on the side of the road, breathing heavy on the 101, right by Air One. And Meryl and I pulled over, and I ran back, picked up the rabbit, put it in the car with me, held it for a little while, was petting it, trying to see if it would come to. It calmed right down. And, I was sitting there in traffic, and Meryl went into Air One and said, one of the girls said, "Well, where's Bobby? I thought you guys always come in together." And she's like, "He's in the car. He rescued this rabbit on the 101. She goes, "I saw that when I was coming in. I wanted to pull over so bad. Is it all right?" And then I, brought it to the house and had it there for about 4 or 5 hours, and, water and whatever I could do. And it passed, but it's better that it passed at my house than on the side of the road.
So being such an animal lover like that, how do you justify eating animals?
Fox. I look at it like Fox. So UPS or somebody must be pulling up.
Yeah. All dogs hate UPS and FedEx. I mean, it's like the bane of their existence.
She's like, it's on.
Mm-hmm.
I look at this whole place. Listen, if I was evolved enough, Eddie, I would just, drink water, breathe air, and get sunshine. Perhaps we're able to do that someday, but, I'm not that conscious yet. And I've tried being vegan and vegetarian, and I lose weight, and I'm foggy. It just doesn't work. Meryl takes me to, vegan, vegetarian places. I walk out hungry and bloated. It's just how it works. And yet you sit down and put a few pounds of meat in front of me, some buffalo, and mix that with a little bit of salad. You know what I had last night? I had raw buffalo, and this one company makes raw buffalo, and they put a little heart and liver in there. And
wow.
I took that, put it in a bowl with raw buffalo, raw cheese, raw garlic, raw onions, spinach. And then I got a buddy who gets wheat flour from Italy, and he makes these raviolis, and he puts wild game in it. And he gave me a couple of those, a little bag of those last night. He also bakes bread for a bunch of people in town for free. again, with this wheat flour, it's like eating in Europe, you know, you don't get bloated, you don't get mucus, you don't get any of this stuff. And I mix all that up with, you know, olive oil and some capers and garlic and onions and pepper and salt and all that. And that's what I ate. And I feel great. It actually feels like I'm super satiated, but I don't have a lot of food in my stomach. My body is just that. I'm an O negative blood type. I basically can eat a pair of shoes and digest them. You know, I don't know. And then listen, all animals in this place, this weird place. I mean, I think it's bizarre that we eat food and we get electricity from that in order to run this entire thing. It's bizarre. And then we go to the bathroom. That's the waste. It's just so weird, right? You know, the whole thing. But all animals eat other animals. We've been doing it for millions of years. And like I said, I'd like to be evolved enough to not eat anything, you know?
Yeah. I've always tell vegans that. I say, look, if I could not eat animals, I would love to not eat animals. Like I wish I didn't have to eat them. But something in me requires it, and I think it's like needing protein or whatever it is. But the way I justify it to them is, and you know, when they're very strict about trying to like end, you know, eating animals, I'm like, are you going to stop bears from eating salmon? Are you going to stop mountain lions from eating deer? Or, you know, like animals eat animals. It's just a part of the like how the food chain or how the circle of life works, and it's the way I just justify is like we're the apex predator and we're able to eat everything down below us. And, you know,
how about exactly. How about that story of Yellowstone when they removed the wolves and how the whole ecosystem completely fell apart, overrun with deer, all kinds of crazy stuff. Water started rerouting in different directions. Nothing was functioning properly. They brought the wolves in less than 2 years, the place was back to being a perfect habitat, because they were eating the deer and keeping the ecosystem the way it's supposed to be.
You even see that around here. And I've heard that story with sharks a lot. The justification for having great white sharks around is that they eat a lot of fish, and fish eat algae. And if we didn't have the bigger fish, the bigger sharks, the whales, whatever, the fish would eat all our algae, and we get 70% of our oxygen from the ocean. So all our oxygen is coming from that being made from that algae. That's gone. We die, you know? So you need the sharks in the water, and the people that want to call the sharks, and, you know, the surfers that are like, oh, we need to kill all the sharks. It's like, all right, if you want to destroy the planet, that's a good thing to do. It's like, you know, the bees. Did you ever see the movie? What was it? I forget the movie. Did you ever see the documentary about the bees?
Yeah.
The beekeeper that goes up, and if we like lose the bees, we die.
Yep. Yeah. That's a huge one. I mean, it's, you know, food. Anybody can look this up online. There's this woman, Anastasia, in Russia. And she's put a series of books out. She took kids. This is something that you wish somebody did with you, and I wish somebody did with me. They took a bunch of kids, put them in like a Waldorf type of environment, school, but ramped it up by 1,000, meaning they taught the kids martial arts. All the kids spoke like 5 languages. You know, they learned everything, you know, painting and music and playing an instrument. It's just amazing stuff. But the food part, she would take the seeds of food. The kids would grow their own food, right? Wow. And they would take the seeds of the food and they would soak the seeds in their own spit before they put it into the soil, so that the plants would grow with their DNA complex into the plant.
Wow.
And I was like, I said to Meryl, we're doing that this summer. We're getting a greenhouse, and I'm going to be spitting on tomato plant seeds and planting my seeds.
Do you think that's really possible?
Yeah, well, don't you? I mean, think about it. Think of all the stuff that's in your saliva. And if you're using that to sprout the seed, I mean, there's many scientific studies when you're growing the plants. You're like, why do these tomatoes grow so and taste so good? They taste way better when I grow them than buying them in the store. Well, supposedly your energetic field goes into that plant. You're caring for them. You're out there. Your hands are in the soil. You know, all of it, like the whole 9. On top of which, of course, as soon as you pick the tomato off the vine, it starts to, you know, oxidize. So if you're eating them really close to the picking, think about how much more nutrients there are on there. Right. So when I heard this about this Anastasia woman, I'm like, oh, dude, it's on. My seeds are going to be spit on. They're going to be my plants.
I never thought about that with, like, everybody says I want to grow a garden, and I'm not really that into it, but it would be nice. It'd be nice to have a garden.
Start with one plant. You ready for this? Victory Garden, World War II. 40% of all the food consumed in the United States came from backyard gardens. How bad? I know. Is that an astronomical number or what? How badass is that? I'm going that route. We want to bring that back. I mean, think about that.
40%.
For real. That's a real statistic. Victory Gardens, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. How simple, right? I mean, think about it. If you grow zucchinis and tomatoes and watermelon, you definitely can grow these things. Anybody can. You can even grow these things in an apartment. I got a buddy, my buddy Ian Jacklin up in Canada, is working with this company, and this makes it super simple for people. There's a tree you put in your house. It's not a real tree, but it looks like it's shaped like a tree. It's all metal. You put the seeds inside each one of the pockets. It's got its own lighting system, and it doesn't use any soil, so there's no mess. What happens is,
oh yeah, a vertical tree. My buddy Jeff Olson, that's been on the show, sells those.
Yeah. So it grows all the stuff super fast. Super efficient. It gets the roots keep getting water. The water shoots up the tree and comes down the tree.
Apparently, it's really good for marijuana too. That was a side effect they didn't know. Like when they made them, and they were selling them, they just did it for gardening. And all of a sudden, some guy called him on the phone, was like, "I need like 50 more of these." And he was like, "Why?" He's like, I've been growing my marijuana and it's growing like crazy.
Yeah. Everything's like 3 times more efficient. You get like a 30% bigger yield. They grow 3 times faster.
Vertical tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mentioned early in the show, Barbell Apparel. I like their joggers more than anything in the world. Kyle over there sent me a new pair. They've got this pair that feels like, I don't know, it feels like pajamas, but they're not. I've worked out in them. I fly in them. I walk around in them. It's the only pants I take with me on the road. I don't take pants anymore. I wear pants on stage. That's it. When I perform, I wear pants. But other than that, I live in these joggers. Barbell Apparel. But the shirts are great. The hoodies are great. The shorts are awesome. I've been wearing their shorts. I just did 3 workouts this week. CrossFit Malibu. I wore Barbell Apparel. My wife likes it. My wife just got their yoga pants, their bra top, and she looks hot in it and sexy, and I love it. It's just, it's weird. It's like I want to throw out all my other clothes and just wear Barbell Apparel. Oh, I forgot to mention their jeans. I took a video on their jeans. I'll put it back up. I got the jeans. I wasn't sure. I'm like, hey, I buy really expensive, nice jeans. And I was like, these won't, do the job. I put them on. I swear to God, look at me in YouTube. I swear to God, the most comfortable jeans I've ever had on. And they look awesome. My wife was like, those look really good. And my wife's a stylist. She was like, those look really good. I almost wore a pair for my special, but the color didn't match what I was wearing, or I would have worn them in my comedy special, because they look so good. That's how good they look. They're built for people that work out. They're 4-way stretch, everything unbelievable. And right now, Barbell Apparel's running their Swolemate sale. Grab something for you and your partner. Let them know you noticed their hard work with clothing built to keep them motivated in the gym. So check out this deal, because this stuff they should be charging crazy rates. And it is expensive stuff, but it's worth every dollar. For a limited time, get any of their jeans, chinos, or anything pants for $99. That's $50 below normal. Go to barbellapparel.com. That's barbellapparel.com/WODcast. Check out the ultra comfortable high performance apparel. Save 10% off any purchase. Okay. barbellapparel.com/WODcast. Get their joggers. Trust me, get their joggers. Their jeans too. barbellapparel.com/WODcast. Okay. You're going to get 10% off if you do that. It's funny. I have a joke sort of about this. It's not a joke, but it's kind of an anecdote about how when people people work their whole lives to make tons and tons of money. And when they get wealthy, what do? They buy a farm. You
Yeah.
always see wealthy people buying a farm when it's like, you didn't need to go out and do all that work to buy that farm. You could have just farmed.
Yeah.
You could have just had your farm all along, and you wouldn't have had to gone out and be a lawyer or do that accounting or do, whatever it is that possibly you don't love.
Well, it's kind of what it's kind of what you're saying. I mean, and it's kind of what I'm saying. Start the farm with one plant. You have a windowsill, even if you live in an apartment, you know what I mean? And how cool are the buildings in New York that they put gardens up on the rooftops? There's a bunch of those going on.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool? I wanted to show you this. I got to send this to you. I don't have a picture of the guy though. It's so funny. Can you read that?
Manly Health and Training.
Look at the year.
1858.
Yeah, dude, you have to look at this. I got to send you this. Bernhard McFadden and a couple of these guys. This guy was Mose Bessler of Brooklyn.
Hold on, we're talking Civil War years.
Yeah, before. Isn't Civil War 1860? Yeah,
I think.
This is 2 years before. Yeah, Civil War, I believe, was 1860 to 1864. I think it was 4 years. This guy, Bernhard McFadden, right around that time and just after, he owned his own publishing company and was doing stuff like this. So I said, I was trying to figure out where, I know the Greeks, right? We can go back to Aristotle, all these guys, but I wanted to see in the United States, right? That's pretty much the time. Ben Franklin was a huge advocate of health and wellness and swimming and all these amazing things. Abe Lincoln, the same stuff. But I wanted to see where there was like a big push, where there's advertising and stuff and putting it in newspapers. And it's right around that time that I can find these guys. This guy, Bernhard McFadden, was a crazy guy. And they named all his kids, all their names started with a B, sort of like Foreman, George Foreman. But he became like what you and I consider a fanatic. Like, you stay balanced. When we talk about COVID, we go on both sides and we look at everything. We're always kind of look at everything. This guy got to the point where it's like he hated doctors so much. No AMA yet, right? And then when the AMA came out, he was really against Carnegie and Rockefeller and the stuff that they're doing, because they were closing down a lot of the holistic colleges as well, because they wanted an all-one sort of thing. And so he got to the point where he had something when he was like 80, 85 years old, super healthy. He was skydiving at like 80 years old. Like this is this guy.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Because so he was about 80 in 1940.
Yeah, somewhere around.
Wait, no, he wrote that. He wrote that in what? How?
No, he didn't. McFadden didn't write this thing. So McFadden was after this. This is just before McFadden. I was trying to find stuff back, but McFadden had a publishing company all in the early 1900s, late 1800s, call it late 1890s. He started this. He was, it's close to that time. But anyway, he had a stomach thing, small intestine, some sort of blockage, and he refused to go to the doctor, refused to do anything. And that's what killed him. Something as simple as that, because he would refuse emergency medical care. And he made a mistake, obviously.
Yeah, well, that's why I see some of those religions like Church of Christian Science or whatever that refuse medicine. It's like, trauma works. Like trauma surgery is unbelievable. You get a gunshot wound, you go into the hospital, they're going to fix that. They can do doctors are incredible mechanics. Their mechanics are unbelievable. When it comes to pharmaceuticals, some work, some don't. There's a lot of money in it. I try to stay away from it as much as possible. If I was knocking on death's door and they told me to take a pill and it'll save my life, I'm going to take it. But for the most part, I don't think I've taken a pill other than a supplement. Wait, no, I have taken a course of antibiotics in 10 years, probably once.
Well, the last time I was at the doctor, you'll laugh about this, was 30 years ago. It'll be 30 years in 1 month. And you know why I went? I had to get blood drawn for the Olympic trials for wrestling to make sure I didn't have AIDS. That was it.
And they found out you did that. They found out you did, and that's why you didn't get to wrestle.
Yeah. Well, that's the last time I used it, a doctor for anything. I haven't been sick since. I've nothing, why would you want to go to a place where people go to die, right? For the most part. I mean, again, I'm with you. You and I are on the same page. Emergency medical care. Oh my God, the best. Broken bones, heart attacks, lacerations, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Amazing, amazing miracles.
Yeah. Heart attacks. It's incredible what they can do.
Oh yeah, they did a lot of work on that. And as you know, I work with the head of cardio and pulmonary research at Mayo. One of the reasons why we got on today is we're going to talk about Stratosphere, and I'll take all the paperwork out on this so everybody can see what exactly this is going to be, and it's coming to Eddie's neck of the woods pretty quickly. I'll just take all the stuff out. But yeah, when we talk, my dad, okay, you're going to love this, more food related stuff that you and I talk about. My dad's very much like me, looks really young for his age, 84 years old, still goes out and paddles on a surfboard, goes for bike rides every day, goes to the gym, takes care of himself. He's in shape. There's no heaviness, nothing. You think, oh my God, this is my dad's going to go forever. A little over 2 years ago, he had a heart attack, and he had tons of blockage. The left main, which is they call the widowmaker. I found all these things out and talked to Bruce about it. I got Bruce on the phone with my dad's doctor in Florida. My parents are in Florida, and they had a great conversation. And Bruce put me at ease. He's a good friend of mine, right? Because I'm working with Stratosphere over at Mayo. And he said that your dad's in really great hands. They made a decision that when my dad came in for the heart attack, they put a stent in and then sent him home for 10 days and gave him some sort of medication to make sure that his blood was nice and, healthy, so he doesn't bleed out on the table and all these things, because he had that opportunity to do that. And, he had to get a triple bypass, I guess it was,
Wow.
and they left the stent. And it just amazed me how they had wings of all these people in every direction getting done. This guy had not lost a patient in 19 years. And I was thinking,
wow,
I was thinking my dad could go like any second. And I was like, because the way I thought about heart attacks, I'm like, that's,
me too.
Now, how did my dad end up like this? The doctor said, by the way, my dad grew new veins around his heart so he could keep functioning. The heart changed because that blocked area grew new pathways. That's one thing that blew my mind. And then we talked about his diet. My dad eats, are you ready? Skippy peanut butter on white bread with a glass of pasteurized milk at around 9-10 o'clock at night, and then goes to bed. So he did this for 60 years. We figured he had about 180,000 of these sandwiches.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Right?
And think about the sugar and the plaquing and all the crap that happened to him from eating this before he went to sleep. It's not like he used it as some form of energy. He went to sleep and let this stuff seep in. It was just insane.
Yeah, it's funny to see. It's funny to see how, like, just directly in your own family, how times have changed our health. My grandparents, your longevity is pretty much linked to your family and your genetics. My grandparents both lived to be 96. They walked every day. They ate a lot of, they weren't like super healthy by any means. My grandfather owned a drugstore that had a soda counter. He liked milkshakes. He liked ice cream, but he ate meat from the butcher and vegetables from a good market. It was back in the day when the farm brought it in and dropped it off right there, and that's what you got. Now 96, both of them, kidney failure for him at 96. My grandmother, it was just end of life, just didn't have much left. My dad is 86. I think a few years ago had a stent put in. And, that's 12 years prior, 13, 14, I don't know how many years prior to their death.
Yeah.
And they never had heart problems. Now my dad loves everything. I mean, eats pretty well, but he still eats crap too. And I think that just goes to show that it could be stress. It could be a lot of different things. We have stressors that we didn't have years ago. We have less activity, more screens. There's compounding, sugar everywhere, food everywhere. Dylan always talks about, he doesn't blame sugar or fat or whatever, or carbs, or he's always saying it's just like, we have too much food. Everywhere you go, there's food. It's what people do. What weirds me out is that some people's lives revolve around food. Like, what are we doing today?
Yeah. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that was not created very long ago. It used to be Bobby and Eddie, Lauren and Mariel go out and they forage for the berries and the nuts and whatever they can bring in. And you and I go out and hunt. Now, if we don't come home with anything, guess what? We don't eat. That's fasting. That's how it worked. Or you just eat, the vegetables and the fruits and the nuts. And so that's why I think, the word vegan or being vegetarian is in everybody's lives, right? But it's a balance of both, whatever works for you and your genetic makeup, and your environment and your heritage and your blood type. There's so many things that you want to look at for that. But it's really funny about the food. You and I both intermittent fast. So does every other human being, right? Nobody eats while they sleep. And that kind of, when I thought about that, I'm like, yeah. So, it's people who say they can't quit smoking. Well, they're not smoking while they're sleeping. So obviously they can go without it if they really put their minds to it. But this intermittent fasting thing is part of our history, our heritage. We've been doing it forever, winters and this kind of stuff. It's hard to get food. So if we would just, eat less, rest more and exercise, it's quite a few.
Speaking of rest, Bobby, look at my sleep score. That's because of my Sleep 8 mattress. I get a 96%. Actually, that was Wednesday night. Look at last night.
What happened last night? Did he keep you up?
No, I play chess, and I started playing chess, and the next thing I know, 3 hours later, I'm playing chess and online.
What, online?
Yeah, I'm addicted.
Oh my God! Do you at least have the blocker up for the light? So
No. Do I need to get that?
You can't be doing that.
Explain to me why. What? I don't know this.
You don't know what?
Why do I need a blocker?
Okay, well, one of the main contributors of autism, scientific study, research been going on, is women who spend too much time on their phones and computers. The blue light interrupts the sleep patterns of the child.
I'm going to call bullshit on that.
Oh, no, for sure. So think about it. If I interrupt your sleep patterns by putting light in your eyes. If we didn't have electricity, think of how tired you would get when the sun went down. You only have candlelight. And obviously that's not doing anything to keeping you awake, really. It's not bright enough. But it really works that way.
So what do I have to do?
I got to get Bindo a quick snack. Hang on.
Is blue light safe for pregnancy? The blue rays found in artificial light directly reduce melatonin production in the pregnant mother. As a consequence of this lowered melatonin production, the fetal brain is more susceptible to damage. In fact, damage may occur very early in gestation, even before a woman knows she is pregnant. Let's see. What's this site? That's from barnesandnoble.com. I don't know if I consider WebMD. This is WebMD. Additional research has linked stress during pregnancy to social and emotional problems and schizophrenia, according to background information. However, little data exists on the effect of parental stress and women's chances. I don't know where that is. Why I just read that.
Here, look.
I got some data on that.
That's what I gave Bindu.
I found some stuff on it, Bob. I don't know the source though. It says that
what?
I found some stuff, and it claims you're right.
I mean, think about any light, Eddie. People don't realize that incandescent versus LED. When you look at the spectrum of light from sunlight, it's sort of rounded and it just goes everywhere, right? You look outside, the sun's out, everything's lit up. It's this broad spectrum of light. LED, if you look at a graph of light, it looks like this. It's a nice rounded thing, right, of light. LED looks like this, sharp, direct, and straight. That hits the pineal gland. It goes into your eyes and it just goes bang into your brain. So incandescent light is very similar to this, right? But people can make a lot of money off of LED. They can, the light lasts longer, all these things. But at the end of the day, this is insane. You can look this up right now. The Edison light bulb, the first one, is still lit. It hasn't gone out yet. They never turned it off ever. Why do we keep needing new light bulbs if Edison's first light bulb is still lit? What is going on? I look at that. It's like batteries. They can last forever. Why do we have to get a new battery every year? There's got to be,
just recharge them and recharge them and recharge them.
Yeah.
But even batteries that you recharge, they die eventually after a number of charges.
Well, there's ones that obviously you could just keep plugging in and they keep going,
Well, out of interest for time, because I got to catch a flight to Vancouver and I'm hardly even packed and I'm trying to get all my ski stuff and everything in there. How's your skiing going, by the way? Have you been?
It's awesome.
Have you gone up that little mountain?
No, I went over. So here's the deal. You're gonna laugh so hard, and I got to get started because I've talked to a couple of really good skiers. I was going to go yesterday, but the kids are there from 3 to 5:30, and it was a cold day yesterday, right? Yeah. Negative temperatures, and so even though they go till 9 o'clock at night, because they do, so it's Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday and Sunday is 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wednesday is 3:30 to, and this is where Izzy would love this. And
let me interrupt for the audience to know. Bobby has a ski hill. He lives in Sun Valley, Idaho, and he's far down the road from the mountain, from the big Ketchum, from Sun Valley Resort. But
yeah, 12 minutes. I'm 12 minutes from there, but $199 a day for a lift ticket.
Yeah. And then right down the street from him, just around, like he could walk to it, is, I mean, it's probably a quarter mile from your house at most, right?
No, it's a mile. It's a mile.
Is it a mile?
Yeah.
Is it a mile?
I mean, I know I'm looking at the top of the mountain, but it's still a mile.
Is what's it called again? I don't want to sell, but it is. But
Rotor.
But it's just this tiny little mountain, but it's awesome in a way.
It has 10 poles. It's got to be like 700 meters or something. So it's not super small, but it's small, in comparison to Baldy, 3,400 vertical.
Yeah.
Ed. So Wednesdays, 3 o'clock to 9, Fridays, 3 to 9. But on Wednesdays, the kids are ski racing from 3 to 5:30. So you as an adult, or you can't go till 5:30 until 9. A ski pass for the season from, late November to April. You pick a number.
$100.
It's $100. And if you don't want to pay that, it's $10 for a lift ticket.
That's hilarious.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a perfect turn. Eddie's a expert skier, and he and I went skiing when he came up here at the Comedy Club at the Arjo Theater. He did 2 nights, kicked ass. We went up on the mountain together, and Eddie was teaching me, I've been skiing since I was a kid, but I have nothing but bad habits. I can go down anything, because I'm physically fit and strong and whatever, but no one ever really taught me how to ski. So Eddie was helping me. I was planting my poles after I turned. Eddie's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm turning." He's like, "Yeah, but you plant your pole first, then turn. You go off of that." And the habit is ingrained so much that Eddie followed me. He'd say, I'd plant, he'd say turn, and then he'd say plant.
I'd say plant.
Plant. And when I would do it, it'd be like, wow, look at that guy. He knows how to ski. And then when I would go back to the old habit, it was like,
how funny is it how hard it is to break a habit like that?
Yeah. Well, that little hill, it will do it. If I just keep planting and turning,
Yeah.
by the time you come back, you'll be like, I don't even think about it. It'd be like driving a car. Nobody sits there when they're driving a car and go, hey, I need to put on the brake now. I'm going to take my foot off the accelerator.
That little hill has a good pitch though. Like it's got a good level of like, it's not just a little hill. It's a good head wall of another part of a mountain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, so let's talk Stratosphere. I saw it for the first time. I was in Arizona. Bobby gave me access. I went and saw it. Went to the office where they're doing the studies. It looks like a underwater submarine kind of thing. It was way bigger than I thought it was going to be. My claustrophobia still will not allow me to get in there. When it's as big as a house or as big as like a room, I might be able to get in if like I can open the door from the inside. I just don't like, and that's pressurized. I don't like the idea. Like if I ever went scuba diving, which I like to scuba dive, and I got the bends and I had to go into like a nitrogen chamber, because I had nitrogen narcosis or whatever they call that. What is that?
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I'd be like, let me die. I can't go in this like tank.
I think that baby steps, right? You go in it with the door open.
Yeah.
Work out on the bicycle with the door open, and then do it with the door closed and then open the door. You turn the machine on and off when you want. There'll be controls inside the new one that you could go just to 1,000 feet or whatever you want. And
so wait, before we get into that, for people that haven't heard before, can you please explain what the Stratosphere is?
Okay, I'll start out to make it really simple with the first illustration. I have my pitch deck here, performance and longevity. I took the thing apart here. This is a first sketch of it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, what would you say it is? Those numbers are hard to read. So how high is it from the floor to the roof right there? About 10 feet?
It's 8 here. And then let me get another one. It's 8 feet 3 tall. It's 78 inches wide. The new one is anyway. Here, that's a 6 foot. That's a 6'2" human.
Okay.
That helps a lot.
But Bob, the one I saw looked bigger than that.
It is.
Okay.
That's a home version that I showed you with the human. Okay. It's 8 feet 3 tall. It's that one that you looked at, 8 feet 3 tall, 6 feet 1 inches wide. And it's a perfect sphere. And then there's a false floor that sits on the sphere. So the floor is kind of squatty, but there's still tons of room in it to move around it. It weighs 6,000 pounds as well. It's made out of steel.
Wow. And it's spherical because of the pressure?
Yeah, because of the pressure and how the pressure moves around inside the chamber. I built this with guarded engineers who build space shuttles and submarines. It had to pass all these different specs. PBHO, pressure vessel for human occupancy, ASME, American Standard Mechanical Engineering. And then we put an enormous oversized pump by a company called Bush to pull the air in and out. It does real pressure changes and it does real temperature changes as if you're going up and down in elevation, on top of which I put lighting, sound, vibration, and magnets in there. All of these things, including the pressure changes and being able to exercise in the chamber, all have merit of stimulating red blood cells, progenitor cells, stem cells, up to somewhere around 16 times that of normal. And your body produces the stem cells. So the reason why Ali and all these guys, all these fighters fought up in the mountains and trained up in the mountains and then came down is you get a period of time where you have more red blood cells, more oxygen delivery to the tissues, so that you do not fatigue as fast. But Bruce Johnson is doing
what kind of difference for someone like Ali, or Hunter tries to do that all the time, where he goes up into the mountains and trains before races? What kind of difference is that going to make? Are we talking a few percent, a few, like for their VO2 max, or where is it? Where's it going to show their red blood cells? What kind of, give me some,
okay. So you want some data? Okay,
yeah.
I'm in my 4th year of studies. EPO, you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
The erythropoietin. Okay. That's what people do to blood dope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I asked, one of the PhDs, what's going on with the EPO studies. And I said, what kind of data do you get? This is going to knock you on your ass. And she's like, well, I'll give you an example. We had this one woman, she's in 3 sessions, however they measure it on the scale with blood, but the numbers make it easy. She measured a 6.7, when they took her blood. She did 3 sessions and they took her blood again, 16.9.
Yeah, but
that's 320, Ed, 3 20-minute sessions.
But I don't know what 6.7 is. You could be saying I have a penny and now you have 3 pennies.
Just know that your EPO just tripled.
Okay. So, but I don't know, like, did Lance Armstrong, when he took EPO, when he was biking, did it go 300 times, or did
No. Okay. So let me give you that again, because I'm not a scientist and I haven't broken that down and exactly what they're measuring and how many liters and all this stuff. The other thing that they saw when they were using the chamber, nobody was considered blood doping. Your body self-regulates when it's not being injected with something, right? So it's non-invasive. It's you going in the mountains inside the chamber, bringing the mountains to you is all we're doing. So everybody who used the chamber for X amount of time, let's call it 3 times a week, for 60 to 90 days, there were always, when they were maxed out, there were always 1 blood marker below blood doping. Like you on your best day, you're like, I can't believe how I ran that mile in 4 minutes and 40 seconds and I didn't feel tired. Everybody's like that because the body self-regulates. So it takes it that far. It takes it as far as you naturally can go is what this does. So I'm looking at this stuff, and I've talked about this a million times. My grandfather was a professional athlete, boxed, wrestled, played football. I have pictures with him with Joe Louis and Billy Conn and all these fighters back in the day. And when I was a kid, he's the guy that stopped me from putting on rubber suits and losing weight. He said, wrestle a weight class higher, you're growing. And then when I got to college and I was wrestling guys, I'd wrestle some of the best. I remember junior college, I wrestled this kid that was ranked #1 in the nation, and almost beat him, lost 4-2, really tough match. But my grandfather thought that I should wrestle up a weight. I was wrestling at 177, but I said to him, some of these guys are taking steroids. And he said, well, if you take steroids, I'll cut both your hands off and you won't play sports. Because he had friends that died from taking these things, right? From different diseases, from compound of taking it over and over again. So I said, well, how do I beat the guy that's on steroids? He said, you already won when you stepped on the mat. I said, what do you mean? He's like, their physiology can't take what they injected into their bodies. Eventually they'll break. Something breaks on anybody who's taking something to enhance, whether their muscles are too big for their tendons and ligaments, whether their muscles are too big for their heart to pump the blood to get to these places. It's unnaturally put together in a quick period of time instead of being an athlete and training forever, lifetime. That's what athleticism is, train for your entire life. So Stratosphere is a thing that's going to stop steroids. That's my
question is, how do you differentiate? How do you say that this isn't an artificial way of enhancing your
non-invasive
body? So it's because
non-invasive. There you go. You're not taking a chemical. You're not injecting something.
Hey guys, you've heard me say it before. My wife is swearing by this. I am on board fully myself. I never thought I would be, but too many people that I trust in the business of physical therapy, chiropractors, whatever, guys that do body work, told me I had to start using CBD. So I researched. I found the one I like the best. And that's CBDMD. I always have trouble saying that. CBDMD rises above the competition. It's basically the leader in the CBD and everyday wellness industry. They're committed to helping you stay at the top of your game every day. Everyone from CrossFit legends like Annie Thorsdottir, Justin Medeiros, to everyday athletes just like you, turn to CBDMD to give them the quality support that they need to recover like a pro. So whether you're pushing for a PR or just starting your fitness journey, you can always turn to our new friends at CBDMD to help you get quality rest, relaxation, and recovery, no matter what you're dealing with. I've got a closet over there full of this stuff. I am now using everything from the lip balm to the thing I like the best is, in fact, I'm going to go get it. I'm going to take it with me on the plane because there's no THC on it. I can fly with it, but I'm using the roll-on for my joints right now because I'm a little sore from my workouts. Look, you guys want to get a hold of this. They've got everything, tinctures, oils. They have CBD for your pets. You need relaxation. The stuff works. You will see a massive difference. Try it. Trust me. And to make it easier, try everything CBDMD has to offer. They're giving all our listeners 25% off your next order when you use the promo code WOD. That's WOD at checkout. WOD. Once again, that's CBDMD.com. Promo code WOD for 25% off.
I had a conversation with Dr. Dave Joyner. Look him up. He's the one that was taking everybody's medals away back in the late 90s, early 2000s from drugs, right? Constantly taking steroids and all kinds of stuff. He said to me, we're looking to get rid of this stuff, just like you're asking, devil's advocate. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, hyperbaric is illegal. He's like, we're making it illegal. Nobody can get in a hyperbaric chamber because not everybody has access to that. So I said to him, where are you guys training? And he said, what do you mean? I said, where's the training center? He's like, Colorado Springs. I said, what's the elevation? He said, 7,000 feet. I said, do you need me to go on? And he giggled. And I said, you need to remove that place and put it down at sea level because you guys have an advantage over everybody training in the mountains. He's like, okay, I'm listening. I said, I'm using ambient air. I'm not mixing any gas. This is just me bringing the people to the mountains. They can't make it to the Olympic Training Center, but they can have the Olympic Training Center elevation in their own home, in their own facility.
You do more than just take them to elevation. From what I understand from talking to you prior to this, you are taking them up to elevation, then down, then back up, then down so that they don't acclimatize, correct? So that their body is constantly in red blood cells.
Yeah, it's like CrossFit confusion, right? Same thing. Like, don't do the same thing over and over again. But we base it up. We have an oximeter on you so we can see your oxygen levels and we can measure your heart rate and see all the things, the variabilities that are going on to create the pressure changes and elevations that are right for you. And that's just the foundation. For me, like Bruce Johnson has figured out that there's these magnets that when you hold them in your hands, they stimulate stem cell growth. I'm all about longevity, right? That's my thing. Quality of life. I forgot to add this in. Your 96-year-old grandmother's 101 right now. She's still going. She's out in Port Jefferson, Long Island. So yes, I do have genetics as well. And I completely understand, and her lifestyle was always healthy food, backyard garden, the whole bit, and then obviously genetics play, but her environment was a good one, right? Everything around her was pretty healthy. But 101, that's some good stuff. But to me, 101, I'm still turning cartwheels. I'm still running. That's my plan. People at the Mayo Clinic, a couple of PhDs, people in different areas of longevity, Dr. Rudolph Tanzi over at Harvard University. He does neurology, anti-aging. Life expectancy by 2030, you can choose to live till 100. You can choose to live till 100. You and I are choosing to live to 100 already. We're way ahead of the curve. We're like, we're going to eat better. We're going to sleep better. We're going to work out better. We're going to live better. We're going to meditate better. We're going to breathe better. We work on all these things. These are all quality of life longevity. By 2050, they're saying you can choose to live to 300. These are the predictions. Aubrey de Grey, he seems like a crazy coot, but he's a super bright guy. He says the kid's already been born that's going to live 1,000 years. And then, when I start talking numbers, 100 years old, 300 years, people's brains right away, who wants to live that long? Their correlation of age is an old person in a wheelchair that, is not cognizant and doesn't have a quality of life. You and I, and other people, enthusiasts of a quality of life, are like, no. Big wave surfing at 80, because why not? And then my investors, Michael Schwab, Charles Schwab's son, Brett Dedeaux, super amazing guy over at USC. This is my last group of guys, Ryan Morelli. They're all into anti-aging and getting younger. They used to party and have a blast. And now they're saying, hey, maybe less partying, more health. So people are getting red light tables. They're doing cold plunges. You don't do cold plunges, do you, Ed? You just do
no. I have reasons for not doing. I don't mind it. I think it works. I think it's good for stimulating your, getting your, what's it called? Your adrenaline going. I think there's definitely positive stuff with cold plunges. To me, though, it's just so uncomfortable that it's more stress than it is the benefits. The detractions outweigh the benefits.
Agreed, 1000%. You get yourself a freezer. What temperature would you like it, Ed? Would you like it 55? Would you like it 50, 48? That's what Meryl and I did. We looked at, Laird and Hamilton and a bunch of other people who really promote these things. And I, like you, and my buddy Mark from Australia, he doesn't have a lot of body fat. He's in there and he's like this. And I'm like, yeah, no. So I made the temperature, Meryl and I, our favorite temperature, 48. And when you go in, it gets you a little bit, just like you're saying, do your breathing, a little bit of breathing, a little Wim Hof or whatever breathing you want, to that works with you. And within like 10 seconds, you sort of settle back and go, oh, this isn't so bad. And then, got a stopwatch. 5 minutes later, you're relaxed in there, relaxed as I'm talking now. And then you get out and you're getting the same benefits, probably more and probably better, because you're not going into that weird state,
I surf enough in cold water that I'm like, I got it. Little side
you feel
note,
great when you jump in the ocean, don't you?
Little side note. Yeah. Little side note. I think they're making a movie right now about Wim Hof, about his life story, which is pretty cool.
Are they going to add the, and this is not me picking on him. Are they going to add in that, a couple bottles of wine a day that he drinks, that he's an alcoholic? Everybody who looks at Wim Hof, he's a great guy. The stuff is great. We've talked to him in person and said, please stop drinking. And it's hard for him to stop. Now, he's had some major traumas in his life, and this is why he drinks, and he knows it, but it's still hard for him to stop. I mean, that's why his nose looks like that. It's just, again, not making fun of him, I'm calling him out because I'd love him to be healthier. Just stop drinking, man. You're doing such great things. Kenny Kane, Brian McKenzie, they've had talks with them blue in the face about this. They're like, look, your stuff is so profound, but you can't be drinking. You just can't do that. So he's got some stuff, man. Maybe he needs to work on some of that other stuff, but his stuff is cool. I bet you if they're going to do a story, hopefully he allows to see the trauma, that is the death of his wife and some bad things that have happened to him in his life.
Yeah, it's a really sad story. Back to aging forever. The one argument I think it was Rob Wolf was giving me was that your telomeres can only split. I think it's like so many times.
All right. So ready?
Yeah.
Ready? 100% the stratosphere extends the telomere and it retards the sentient cells. 100% already proven. It's like 29%. It's allowing the telomeres to go longer before they have to split. So this is where it's coming from. So Rob, have a look at that. There's an Israeli study you can look up right now. In 2019, that's where they came up with this information. They were putting people in hyperbaric, and they
wait. Before you move any further, explain the difference between hyperbaric and hypobaric.
Hyper is you're going below and you're pressurizing oxygen. Hypo is we're taking off from here, we're going up here, we're coming back to here. We never go below, and we are not mixing any gas.
Never go below what?
Below wherever you took off from. If I live at 5,500 feet, my chamber in my house will be set at 5,500 feet. We'll go up to 15,000 feet and come back to 55. We will never go below. So you can't get the bends.
So hyper, what happens?
Huh?
In a hyperbaric, which is not what you have, what happens? You go below?
You go down. You're pressurized. You're kind of going down in elevation.
Really?
You know what I mean? You're going like, it's sort of like the chamber you're talking about with the bends.
So a lot of guys, though, like a lot of Olympic athletes sleep in these hyperbaric chambers, and I've seen them for sale.
No, they're sleeping in tents and creating altitude similar to hypo. In other words, they're just
Oh,
they're removing oxygen, and they're sleeping in an atmosphere of the same normobaric pressure wherever they are in their bedroom at their house, but they have less air they're getting in, less oxygen, so their body has to adapt to having less oxygen. So I laugh, those rooms that you're in, the bicycle rooms, they have an air conditioning ventilation system that sucks the air out, but it doesn't change the pressure. So you have normobaric. There's a company called Hypoxico, and there's merit in it, and it definitely works, but they're missing. Bruce Johnson is saying somewhere between 70 to 90% of the equation, because you need the pressure changes in order to change different functions of your physiology. Without the pressure changes, you're better off, like, instead of spending the money, get a nice soft pillow and put it over your face. It's the same thing. Because all you're doing is restricting the air, right?
Right.
And
right.
you're spending all this money to create this room, whereas everybody could just go like this. It's
Yeah.
it's the same thing. So and that's what my 4 years of studies are about, seeing the difference. And again, that room definitely has merit. It definitely does something. But
So so let me, so that I understand this, and maybe I'm representative of people listening. The hyperbaric is what they use for people that have the bends or something like that. That's the one that just takes you below the altitude that you're at.
Yeah, to get you to slowly come back up. You go
Okay.
down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
so
then,
that,
but in hyperbaric, they're using oxygen. They're pushing oxygen. So if you and I were to go do hyperbaric right now, we'd actually feel great, because we get all this extra oxygen being pressurized into our tissues. But if you and I went again 3, 4, 5 days later, you'd look at me and go, I felt better the first time. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Because your body adapted. You're just doing the same thing over again. Whereas in my chamber, it's going to continue to change and evolve as your physiology ramps up. Well, you will ramp up. It will ramp up. Now, the other thing is, people like Zach Bush, who's an amazing guy. There's a bunch of professors and a bunch of doctors that are saying hyperbaric does this, over to oxidizes you if you continue to use it. You're getting too much oxygen. So this comes back to Wim Hof breathing and our breathing in CO2, and offensive and defensive linemen on the sidelines who run out off the field and they're exhausted and they grab an oxygen mask and put it on. Well, if they don't have CO2 levels to match the oxygen coming in, their tissues will not accept it. It's just a waste of time. It just sits there and percolates and doesn't do anything. It doesn't go into the tissues. You need to have higher CO2 levels. That's why breathing, deep breath in, longer, deeper breath out, raises CO2, which is a lot to you to get oxygen into the tissues. I practice this myself. So over by our house, Eddie, when we were in Malibu, I'd ride on my bicycle up Tuna Canyon, right? Mm-hmm. So I'd go to 2,600 feet. I'd even go onto somebody's property, the highest cabin. I'd go in their driveway just so I can get to that elevation. So I do 2,600 feet of vertical, nasal breathing only, with a nose clip in to make my nostrils really big. And I'd get up there and my legs would be burning. Obviously, I couldn't move as fast with the mouth breathing, but I also felt a lot better. And then I'd get off the bike and I'd find a flat piece of road at around 2,200 feet. And I'd walk for 20 minutes, taking the longest, deepest breaths in through my nose and trying to triple those breaths out through my nose. And within somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes, right around 12 minutes, I would begin recovery, like super recovery. And the next day, my quads were not like sore, and I'd be almost recovered enough in 24 hours to get on the bike again, as if I didn't ride the day before. So it's amazing.
That's where I do find nasal breathing to really is in recovery. I was doing a CrossFit workout yesterday at CrossFit Malibu, and I was trying to pace myself that I wasn't going to go into anaerobic. I was like, let's just stay aerobic the whole time. And part of the workout were step ups with kettlebells. And all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I'm like, here I go. And I was like, this thing's going to knock me the fuck out if I don't just try to, like, I'm going skiing this weekend. I'm like, I'm going to feel like shit. I'm going to be exhausted. Don't Like, don't go out of nasal breathing. Don't do it. And sure enough, I just was pushing it. Next thing I know, I'm out my mouth. I'm working hard. I'm running. I'm like, And I woke up today. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking sore. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And I knew I pushed it too hard. Like, cause my goal was I just started back again. I called Mike Anderson down at CrossFit Malibu. I'm like, I got to get in shape. I can't do it around the house. The kids are bugging me too much. I'm coming in.
This, by the way, everybody listen, this is classic Eddie F. We're a decade into this same exact routine. The same thing happens. Got to get started again. I'm going to run 1,000 miles an hour.
No. So I was like, I'm going in slow. And I've been like the first day I signed up, they had like a barbell complex.
Of course you did.
And I'm watching everybody around the room and I'm like, do not put the weight on. Do not do it. I'm just like, do not do it or you're going to pay for this. And it is the hardest thing in the world. It is. They told me for the workout the other day, the guy came out and he was like, I had the prescribed weight. And he goes, I'd get a smaller kettlebell if I were you. And I was like, I want to hold it just for that reason. I'm like, and then I was like, do not. The old Eddie would keep that big kettlebell and hurt for 2 weeks. Get the smaller kettlebell. And I actually did it. I went and got the smaller kettlebell. And I just was like, I do not need to be crying and hurting and complaining to my wife that I can't do shit because I'm so sore.
I got a kettlebell that goes to 203 pounds. I got a 200.
I know. We've played with that thing.
Yeah. And again, lifting that up, you feel amazing as long as you just don't overdo it. And I do one hands with that. I pick it up in one hand.
We're gonna have to turn this into a two-parter. We're gonna have to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what? If we come,
I gotta catch flight.
Marilyn and I have to go to the chamber next week, and then when we come back, all my stuff is coming. I'll have you can see I got to repair my assault bike. I got a skier go over here against the wall. You can see it right there in the hallway. Got a rowing machine. I'm getting everybody repaired, right? Because Meryl and I constantly leave that stuff outside. Obviously not in this 0-degree weather, but everybody's getting repaired. And then you can see my high ceilings and the beams. I'm getting a real set of gymnastics rings in. We're doing all this stuff for the rest of the winter to get stuff done. So when we come back on, I'll just show you this stuff. But Ed, you know the Power Monkey rings? I told you about those with the pulley system.
I've done it at your house.
Right. So they're amazing. But within Ed, I'm in shape enough that it's just not enough resistance. It's really nice for a warm up, but like how many pull-ups, handstand push-ups, and muscle ups and iron crosses can you do at half your weight is what's going on. And it's amazing. You use that, but you know what I did? I rogue fitnessed up and I got myself a super heavy weight vest. They go to 120 pounds and I've been adding the blocks to it slowly, but 20. So if I got 40 pounds in the thing, I gained 20. And that's what I did for the first set on those rings. Completely different, felt so much better, went so much deeper into the muscles. So what I'm doing is I'm gaining weight on those so that when I get the rings, I can actually get to the point where at 60 years old, I'm doing an iron cross and I'm doing handstand push-ups and planches and all that stuff, but I'm working my way up slowly using the other system. Anyway, that's what I'm playing around with this winter.
That's your goal. I want to dunk a basketball.
Huh? Oh yeah. Same thing. Same as you with the basketball. Here, look, if you guys can read this, this is some of the stuff. This is what's going on in the United States. I'll hold that for a while. That's how much.
You got to go to our YouTube to see this. I'm not even going to read it. You got to go to YouTube. No one's going to YouTube. And Bobby, I got to run. I'm going to miss my flight.
All right, we'll get together a bunch more.
We'll do episode 2. I'm sure everybody will love this. Thanks for listening, Bobby. They can find you at Instagram. You're at Bobby
Williams B. I'll leave this. I know we've talked about it before on a podcast. Mariel and I are working with a company called One Commune. The Deepak Chopra, Russell Brand, Zach Bush. They launch all these amazing curriculums. Mariel and I are doing a curriculum on health, wellness, longevity, quality of life, all the best of the best food. It's going to be amazing. 7 doctors, Dr. Sun, Dr. Air, Dr. Water, Dr. Earth, Dr. Nutrition, Dr. Exercise, Dr. Rest. They're all free. We're going to teach people who doesn't want to be young at every age and healthy at every age. So we're pushing for that, especially during these times where people are getting sick and the COVID and all this stuff. The healthier you are, the happier you'll be. And Mariel and I are going to be doing this. It'll come out in the spring. We'll talk about it next time, but that's what's coming.
Okay. And you're at Bobby Williams B on Instagram.
Yep.
Thanks, Bobby, for doing the show. Hey, you guys know what to do. Rate, review, comment. Check out our YouTube. Check out my live shows at eddyf.com. Thanks for listening.